Today, we're unpacking a truly historic, high-stakes knockout match from Toronto Stadium. We're talking about a classic European heavyweight clash here, Portugal versus Croatia. And look, if you're someone who loves the deep, tactical chess matches of international football just as much as you love that breathless last-minute drama, you are in for a treat today, because this game delivered on literally every front. Let's jump right in.
Now, you might be thinking, this match kicked off with fireworks right out of the gate. Well, actually, scratch that. It really didn't. For the first 45 minutes, we were treated to a masterclass in defensive rigidity. It was tight, it was tense, it was incredibly cautious. But then, as we'll see, the script completely flipped. It morphed into one of the most chaotic knockouts in tournament history. We're basically looking at a tale of two entirely different halves of football.
So, let's start with Act 1, the rigid tactical standoff. Okay, let's dive into this tactical gridlock. Right from the whistle, Portugal wanted to establish control. They were using this very patient build-up play, constantly trying to manipulate and pull apart the Croatian lines, mostly running things through Vitinha and Bruno Fernandes. But Croatia, they weren't having any of it. They responded with this intense midfield friction and incredibly strict positional organization. Plus, they had an absolute brick wall in goal with Dominic Livakovic. What we were watching was a highly disciplined standoff, orchestrated by two evergreen captains who know exactly what they're doing, Cristiano Ronaldo and Luka Modric. To put that first half into perspective, Portugal absolutely dominated the early possession. The Seleção did manage to carve out a few really dangerous opportunities, the biggest one being when Bruno Fernandes fired this vicious shot at the near corner from a super acute angle, forcing a really desperate deflection out for a corner. But honestly, Croatia's defense was just neutralizing everything. They shot down those lethal final third entries time and time again. So thanks to that perfectly executed defensive game plan, we go into the halftime break deadlocked at 0-0.
But then, the teams come back out. Act 2, Croatia's aggressive breakout.
The 53rd minute. This right here is the exact moment the match exploded. Croatia comes out of the locker room and completely sheds that cautious skin from the first half. Suddenly, they're playing with this aggressive spatial intent, looking to immediately punish Portugal's defense. And in minute 53, they find their opening. So, how did this breakthrough actually happen? Well, after some much more structured build-up play from Croatia, a cross comes looping into the box. It's a heavily contested aerial ball right up against Portuguese defender Ruben Dias. The ball spills loose, bouncing totally unpredictably into the penalty area. And who reacts the fastest? The veteran, Ivan Perišić. No hesitation whatsoever. He just drills a clinical strike right into the back of the net. Boom, 1-0 Croatia, completely against the run of that first half play. And they didn't stop there. Smelling blood, Croatia nearly doubled their advantage just 3 minutes later. I mean, the momentum shift was massive. In the 56th minute, Vlasic scores this brilliant second goal. The stadium is absolutely rocking. Croatia thinks they have 1 foot in the next round. But hold on. The celebrations are instantly cut short. You look over and the assistant referee's flag is raised. It's offside. So it's a false resolution, but make no mistake, the warning shot has absolutely been fired. Portugal is firmly on the ropes. Faced with sudden elimination, Portugal had to answer. Act 3, the captain restores parity. The response was a furious, relentless offensive assault. I mean, the 50th minute alone was absolute chaos. First, Rafael Leao puts on a clinic with some dazzling footwork out on the flank. He creates a pocket of space and curls this sensational strike that just shatters right against the foot of the post. The rebound pinballs around, gets cleared, but moments later, the ball finds Cristiano Ronaldo. He cleanly bypasses Livakovic, hits the back of the net. The Portuguese fans go absolutely wild. But just like with Croatia a couple minutes earlier, the joy is incredibly short-lived. VAR steps in, marginal offside. The equalizer is wiped off the board. You can practically feel the heartbreak in the stadium, but Portugal is coming in relentless waves now. Which finally brings us to the 67th minute. The referee points to the spot. Penalty kick. Why? Because the sheer persistence of Portugal finally fractured Croatia's resistance. They're contesting a corner delivery, and Portuguese defender Renato Veiga gets physically dragged down inside the area. It's a blatant foul. The referee has a perfect view of it and points straight to the spot. No VAR needed for this one, folks.
So the responsibility falls squarely on the shoulders of the captain. Cristiano Ronaldo steps up under massive tournament-defining pressure. The entire stadium is holding its collective breath. But it's Ronaldo. He coolly dispatches his shot, completely wrong-footing Livakovic, leaving him totally static. Parity is restored. It is 1-1, and it's game on.
Which launches us into the final, most desperate phase of the match. Act 4,
Stoppage-Time Heartbreak. Those final 20 minutes? They transformed into a completely chaotic, breathless, box-to-box battle. Croatia absolutely refused to lay down. At one point, Mateo Kovacic gets the ball and literally slaloms through multiple Portuguese defenders like they're training cones. He unleashes this thunderous effort toward the goal, but it just crashes against the post. Both teams are throwing everything forward at this point. That defensive rigidity we saw in the first half, yeah, that felt like a distant memory. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer density of the drama we were watching. We already talked about the 58th minute with Leao's post and Ronaldo's offside goal. We covered the 67th minute penalty. But jumping ahead to the 80th minute, Croatia thought they had stolen the win when Perisic found the net. But keeping with the insane theme of the night, that goal was wiped out by another agonizingly tight offside review. So many near misses, so much tension. And then we reach it, the 94th minute, deep into stoppage time. With extra time staring everybody in the face, Portugal pulls off one last piece of attacking perfection. Rafael Leao, who had been a menace all half, breaks loose down the flank one more time. He looks up, spots his target, and delivers this pristine cross right across the face of the goal. And substitute Gonçalo Ramos, who has fresh legs, times his run absolutely impeccably. He latches onto the delivery in the 94th minute and smashes home the winner. A dramatic 2-1 victory for Portugal, literally right at the death. Unbelievable stuff. So Portugal survives this breathless 94-minute war, officially punching their ticket to face Spain in the round of 16. But it begs the question, right? After expending so much energy, physically and emotionally, to break down that incredibly resolute Croatian defense, do they have the momentum to conquer Spain? Or is the exhaustion of this chaotic knockout classic going to catch up to them? It's a fascinating question to consider as the tournament rolls on. Thank you so much for joining.